Howie Roseman and the Eagles brass in Indianapolis this week for the annual NFL Combine. This is how Howie sets the stage for the 2025 season. He does it in Indy. The Eagles have the 32nd pick in the upcoming draft, but as we know, the Howie is always looking to wheel and deal come draft time. Huddle up. Welcome to Bird's Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Barrett Brooks, I'm Michael Barkamp. Barrett, I'll tell you what, my friend, less than 2 weeks ago, a parade down Broad Street. Now here we are, NFL Combine. It's the pre-draft process. All eyes on Indianapolis right now already.
You know, and this is where you get a lot of the deals done, in free agency. When you look at it, all these GMs and coaches are talking to different GMs and coaches from other teams, willing and dealing, see who's on the market, who's not on the market, a secret market tip, like, all right, we might want to bring you in. This is where all these deals get. So I love the Combine. I love when I used to go to the Combine and really get a little scoop here and there from the coaches also. So, I play for almost half those coaches anyways.
Yeah, you know what that's like. Speaking of next season, Howie Roseman spoke at the Combine this week about shaping the Eagles roster going forward and the challenges that presents.
I could talk about this team, not going back to 2017. We have a lot of guys who I think are in the prime of their careers under long-term contracts. Not saying that team didn't, who are kind of in this 26, 27, 28-year-old range. And so really we have to do whatever we can to make sure that we keep this window open for as long as possible. The most important season is this one coming up, 2025, and doing whatever we can to maximize that. But we have to get creative to make sure that we're keeping as many of our good players as we can. I sat up here last year and I said that's going to include playing young players. And I think that's going to be a huge part of what we are going forward because we're fortunate enough to have a lot of good players who are making a lot of money.
And with that, the three-point stance presented by Toyota. Stance number one, the Eagles have a big championship window. Young players under contract. Howie has been proactive here, locking up young core players. So this team has what it takes to be in the mix for a long time. Yes, Barrett?
Oh, no question, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, offense, everything's pretty much locked up, because we have a lot of guys under contract. And, like that guy, he's here for the next 2 years, Saquon Barkley. But, look at those defensive guys right there. All three of those guys, those two guys were under rookie deals. And when you look at the defensive side of the ball, we have 6 starters on their rookie contracts. So right now, we're cooking with hot grease. We're in a way in which we can go in, and these guys are only going to get better because they're players, they're young, and they're the core group of guys for this team. The core group of guys that they can go up there and they're going to get better. These 6 starters are under Vic Fangio, they're under his tutelage, and they're running the defense the way they should be run. They're running Vic Fangio's defense. So I like the fact that these guys are ready to play. They're going in, they're young, and they're making positive impacts. We have 2 rookies that started and had Pro Bowl years, whether they were in the Pro Bowl or not. They had Pro Bowl years, a shutdown corner. We had an inside guy that played in the slot that could go up and play against the best receivers in the league and played well. So, yes, at this point, I love the core group of guys we have. On the offensive side of the ball, we have guys signed that are impact players for longer periods of time. Both our receivers are here for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. Both starters. Right now, the offensive line, 4 out of the 5 guys are going to be here next year. So, yes, can we make a run? Yes. Our quarterback is under contract. He's going to be here. We have a core group of guys right now that are going to get used to winning. And at this point, I can see us going and try to repeat next year.
And when you've got the amount of youth that you're talking about and you've already won a Super Bowl, you're way ahead of the game.
There's no question
about it. Your window is way open.
And at this point, they're thinking this is going to be commonplace. This franchise is the gold standard. We laughed at them 20 years ago, but it's now the gold standard that, the ownership is put into place. All these guys believe in what they're doing, and I like the fact that they believe in the head coach also. So he needs to go ahead and sign an extension also.
You're right. Stance number 2, Zack Baun is priority number 1 this offseason. Have to sign the linebacker who is up for Defensive Player of the Year. Barrett finished 5th, but he could have easily won it.
Well, I mean, they weren't just seeing him be there. That's the problem. He only plays special teams. When they finally gave him an opportunity to go out there and play in a system which highlighted his skill set, and his skill set is being a great athlete, able to read things, go out there and be an impact player. And, I mean, look at it. He was a special teams player down in New Orleans. He was more so a rush in. You know, Vic Fangio and Howie Roseman said, you know what, he might be able to be our stand-up linebacker. And what does he do? He's 5th as far as being the best defensive player in the NFL. Come on now. He's now in a position where it's a lot of teams. They're going to want his services. They saw how good he was. They saw the things that he did. Hell, he had 151 tackles, 93 solo tackles. He had 3 interceptions, had 3.5 sacks. He did everything from an inside linebacker position that you can do. So, yes, he should be in a priority. And I tell you what, Vic Fangio is going to make sure he's going to be a priority also. He wants this guy back here because his defense was predicated on a great defensive linebacker, and he was that great defensive linebacker that we needed to play.
Stance number 3, Barrett Brooks. Abdul Carter will be an Eagle one day. Carter, the potential #1 overall pick out of Penn State, is asked today about his deep Philadelphia roots. It's virtually impossible that he ends up with his favorite team.
I really just got to enjoy my last year, really being a fan. You know, being from Philly, born and raised, supporting the Eagles really my whole life. Got to take my dad to the Super Bowl, just enjoying being a fan one last year. And so whatever team drafts me, I'm loyal to that team.
Whatever team pays him, he's loyal to that team.
Oh, no question.
Well, Barrett, at the Super Bowl, Abdul Carter took photos in Eagles championship gear. You get the feeling one day he will end up in Eagles green, yes?
There's no question about that, you know, and it seems like a lot of guys do. I mean, you look at our second-team quarterback. He grew up a Philadelphia fan. Saquon grew up a Philadelphia Eagles fan. All these guys eventually make their way back home. Micah Parsons should be an Eagle right now, and it's not going to be far from that. So I can definitely see this young man, you know, later on in his career, ending back up in Philadelphia. And I tell you what, at this point, they're going to be fighting, him and Parsons, for that number 11 jersey. I'm telling you, 2 Penn State guys in Philadelphia. Both guys want that number 11. Both guys great at their positions. I can definitely see that.
Maybe you split it and you get one. Oh, that's Jerry. Can't do that. Here's the playbook tonight. Dave Zangaro joins us from Indianapolis. We'll discuss Howie Roseman's approach to the offseason and what position he may be targeting in the draft, plus stay or go. Stay or go. We look at offensive linemen whose role was bigger than expected this season due to injury. Will he be with the Eagles next season? And is Howie Roseman the best GM in the history of Philadelphia sports? We'll explore in the Hurry Up. This is Bird's Huddle, presented by Toyota.
Bird's Huddle, presented by Toyota, proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and official automotive partner of the NFL.